Hannah Stewart, and welcome to my podcast, Trade Secrets. Uh, I got to come up with a new line, but I'm going to say it. I've said it before. One of my favorite people is here. I only talk to people that are my favorite people, by the way. It's self-serving that way. But this is John Van Est, and John is a talented engineer in his own right, studio owner, stalwart member of the recording community of Los Angeles, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. Yeah.
But John, it's pretty freeform. I asked one question. The main question is, where were you born?
So I was born. I studied up for this one.
Oh, okay. Do you remember where you were born, John?
I had to research it a little. No, but I was born in Oak Park, Illinois, about 20 miles southwest of the city.
Of Chicago.
Of Chicago.
Suburb of Chicago.
Suburb of Chicago.
So we're sitting in 6000 Sunset, the house that Bill Putnam built.
Yeah.
Also Chicago guy.
Yeah.
Something in the water in Chicago with audio, I guess. But so born, what was the name of the town?
Oak Park.
Oak Park.
And Oak Park is famous. It's got a zoo there that very close to Oak Park. It's a famous zoo.
Is it the Chicago Zoo?
No, the Brookfield Zoo.
Brookfield
it's
Zoo.
Actually called. But Chicago's a great town. I don't know if you've ever
Been there, love it, great town. Not spent enough time there. Was there one winter in O'Hare in the airport and had to go outside and go from one gate to another?
Oh, no.
And it was in December, and I was like, fuck this.
Yeah. Well, why do you think I'm here?
Yeah. But, the one question is where you were born, so Oak Park, Illinois. What did your mom and dad do?
My mom was a housewife. My dad had a company that distributed air filters for air conditioning systems.
Oh, wow.
So he would get the East-West account as an example, and he'd come over here.
Swap out my filters.
And swap out your filters.
Nice.
Exactly.
Well, that's funny. I don't know. I don't think I brought this up on the podcast before, but there was only one AC company in LA, and that's Flores and Sons.
Of course.
Without question, they've done every studio I've ever managed. They somehow became the specialist in making air conditioning quiet.
Yes, they did.
In the studio.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you have them at Resonate.
I do. And Adolph is still with us.
He's still with us.
Now, I haven't seen Adolph for a few
I saw David the other day.
I see David on, a semi-regular basis. You and I know how that is. We somehow keep seeing the air conditioning people. I saw David and I asked him, hey, how's Adolph doing? He's close to 100.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he's close to 100.
He told me that when he was in his mid to late 80s that he and his friend went on a road trip and went down to Mexico and party.
I am not at all surprised.
Yeah, no, he's a badass.
He really is.
Adolph Flores and Sons, the company we're talking about, and they are the guys.
Yeah.
In LA for studio.
Now, how did that go? How did we go from Chicago to Flores? Oh, well,
air conditioning filters. Your dad.
That's right.
So,
yeah.
Did you go to elementary school in Oak Park?
No, we grew up in a town called Western Springs, which was maybe 15 minutes from Oak Park.
Oh, okay.
It's a great, and there's towns like this all across America, but it was a great town to grow up in. Small hometown America.
Yeah.
The train came from
relatively safe.
Very safe.
Yep.
The train came through from the Burlington, came right out from the city, and when my brothers and when my brother and my sister got old enough, and myself, we'd be able to take the train downtown, which was
this has been a common theme that has come up, and it came up in the last interview that I did earlier, was thank God that we weren't monitored. You'd leave in the day and come back when the streetlights came on. You go play, and I'm not that we were bad or anything like that, but I think there's a lot to be said for the freedom, of catching tadpoles, going outside into the field, messing around, climbing a tree.
Yeah.
I grew up I was born in California, but I grew up in Charleston, South Carolina, which is freaking gorgeous.
Yeah.
And had just an idyllic childhood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You could go outside. And the other thing about a town like that, and again, this came up, was that the other moms
Oh, yeah.
had their eye out.
Oh, absolutely.
like-
100%.
So, like, your mom, if everybody's mom was watching everybody's kid.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Something to be said for that.
Yeah, completely. And so it was just one of those idyllic things. And talking about the freedom. Well, of course, one thing that's so interesting for young people today is we had no phones or no way of communicating to our parents. Unless we found a payphone or we were at a friend's house where they had a phone.
Yeah. So there was no helicoptering in that sense.
No helicoptering at all. And the first concert I ever went to, this would have been, I think I was 14. And I went to my parents and I said, hey, would you consider allowing me and Dave Taylor and my friend Jeff to take the train down into the Loop, into downtown, and see a concert?
Who was the band?
I'm getting to that. And they were like, well, who's the band? And I said, well, it's the first concert I ever went to, by the way. It's this trio and guitar music. And they're like, well, what's the name? I said, well, it's called the Jimi Hendrix Experience.
Oh, my God.
And my parents go, okay, well, we've never heard of that band. Do you have any albums? Like,
oh, God.
And, of course, if you know the first album,
yeah.
on the back, you've got these three guys with the wild...
All psychedelic.
All psychedelic. And the first two words are be forewarned, And
oh, yeah.
I thought, oh, shit, they made me go get the record and bring it to them. I thought there's no chance this is going to happen. But they let us do it. On a Sunday night, on a school night, on a Sunday night, they let us take the train down at like 5 o'clock. The show, I believe Jimmy might have had 2 shows that night at the Civic Opera House. So we did the early show, which was probably 7 o'clock to 8:30 or something.
What year was this? Not
1968.
Wow.
Yeah. And he came to Chicago 3 times that year. I saw all 3. He did not come in 69. And then in 70, he passed.
Yeah. Wow.
But I did see all 3 shows, one in February, one in summer, and one in October.
And all the original experience, not the Buddy Miles.
No.
Yeah.
I did meet Buddy later in life, but no, it's the originals.
I started doing this, I think I mentioned to you, because I wanted to have something, kind of like a scrapbook.
Yeah, of course.
And to talk to everybody that I love, that I've known for so long. There's so many running themes. There are many, but one of them is the pivotal music that kind of changed your life. And everybody's lucky that listens to music now, then, whenever. But I selfishly think we had some of the best music ever. I want to say from 59 to now.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to go back tonight. I was born in 1959. I'm going to go back to 59 to now. But I don't know if you ever saw it. You might have seen. Did you ever see the Tammy Awards?
Of course. Yeah.
Dude,
of course. Yeah.
Dude,
of course.
Okay.
Of course.
And one of the things we talk about is that on radio, you'd have R&B, you'd have, it was totally mixed. You'd have Motown, you'd have rock, you could even have like Porter Wagner or something on the same thing, right?
Right.
You'd have pretty much very diverse genres on AM radio when we were kids.
Yes.
FM later. And that was also long play where you hear the whole side of a record.
Yeah.
That wasn't when I was a kid, that came later. But I think being exposed to all those different styles of music, how can that be a bad thing? That's a good thing.
No, it's a great thing. Candace, yeah, absolutely.
Now, did they have were you involved in any music programs in your elementary school or high school?
Well, I was thinking a lot about that when I knew I was going to come talk to you. And I think my first recollection of music...
Because you're going to see Hendrix at 14.
Well, yeah. Well, of course.
And so if you're a guitar player, you're devastated.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
No, I mean, probably not.
What was funny about that, though, is when he came out, he had a whole stack of Sun amps. They weren't Marshalls.
Right.
They were Sun.
Yeah, I remember those.
And later in life, my uncle, who saved companies, like he would go into companies that were having real trouble, he'd invest capital, help them build things up, and, maybe...
Did he save Sun amps?
He saved Sun amps. jobs. And Carla and I were on a road trip way back.
His
in
beautiful
the
wife, Carla. We love her.
Yeah, we do love her, and she's beautiful. We were on a road trip, and we went up to Oregon, and I said, I want to go to the Sun Factory, And so I went in, and I said, hey, is there any chance I could tour the factory? And they're like, well, no, we're not really set up for that.
You're like, well, my uncle saved you.
And she said, how do you know about us? I said, well, my uncle saved your ass.
Yeah, no,
and they were like, yeah, we're going to get
whatever you need.
Yeah, we're getting the tour guy over here. Like in 2 minutes, he'll take you everywhere you want to go.
Oh, it's about who you know. That's the lesson here.
Exactly, right? But my first recollection is when my parents would go out for dinner or whatever, they would get, babysitters over. And one of my babysitters had a little box that carried singles.
Oh, yeah.
And so I would always say, when my mom would say, well, I'll call Shelley to see if she can babysit. And I'd always say, tell her to bring the singles.
Was it 45?
Yes.
Yeah.
Bring the singles. Yeah. And so I just remember the pleasure of putting the singles on. And she and I and maybe my sister was there, like just.
Dude, listening to records, going to the record store.
Yeah.
Thank God for Amoeba.
Yeah.
Still, but listening to records, hours and hours and hours.
Yeah.
I guess it was our video games. I guess that would be the
Yes.
thing. That's what we did. We listened to records.
I agree. I do.
It's better than video games, I'm going to say it.
Well.
At least for me.
Yeah, at least for me too. And but that was my first recollection. And then
What was the record the babysitter had that you remember?
well, she had Speedy Gonzales.
Oh my God.
Yeah, which I don't think you'll ever know, but Telstar. There was
Oh,
an instrumental.
I love that. I love it.
Yeah.
And then there was Telstar. Then there was a couple different things. Joe Meek did.
Yes, Joe Meek did Telstar.
Did Telstar, right?
Yes,
so
he did.
there was why is that even in there?
I know, right?
But Telstar, and then you had, and it was like this electronic, very cool, a sci-fi type of thing
right,
almost.
Right.
I think.
Well, Telstar was kind of sci-fi.
That's what
right?
I'm saying. But
yeah.
so Telstar, but there was a couple other tracks at the same time that were like that. Anyway,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Love that.
Look up Speedy Gonzales someday, and that was the one. And but there were several. But I just really remembered. Oh, if she's coming over, we're cool because she's going to bring her 45s, and I don't give a shit how
how
long.
to occupy a young kid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't care, Mom and Dad, how long you stay out.
Yeah.
As long as she's here, we'll spin records, all night.
I love it. Yeah, it's funny, you get that bug. So, were you in a music program? Did you play an instrument?
No, I didn't. But
I didn't either.
I'm sure you know that I was born in 53.
Okay, I was born in 59.
And
you look great, by the way.
When we both did.
Hold
we
up,
both are holding up somehow. Tape and stuff. But, really honestly, for people born in 53, it just was always about the Beatles. I mean, there's just no way to get around that. Prior to their arrival, all my friends, we looked up to sports idols, baseball people,
right.
Willie Mays and
right.
Roger Maris and Mickey Mantle. These were like our heroes.
Right. Then the rock stars become the heroes.
When the morning after that first Ed Sullivan,
yep,
sports was gone. I mean, I went to school. No boy was talking about sports anymore. It was only, what instrument do you want to play?
Oh yeah.
I mean, really,
did you see? Because Ed Sullivan was rad.
Oh man, yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
Frank Zappa was on Ed Sullivan. Okay, just to give you perspective.
Look that up.
I saw that recently. It's crazy. But like I said, like the Tammy Awards, like stuff like that. That was later. That happened in 1964, 65.
Yeah, I was thinking 65.
But it's Santa Monica Civic, by the way. Jan and Dean were the hosts.
Ooh.
Check it out. The Tammy Awards, Teen American Music Award. But the Beatles show.
Yeah,
I have 3 older siblings.
Okay.
And do you have older siblings?
I have one older sibling.
But you had the babysitter.
And we had the babysitter
with the music, right?
Yeah.
So you see the Beatles. It's a lot. That's it.
Yeah, this is like mind blown, and so all of my friends. So I immediately went to my parents. I was like, I want to learn to play guitar, and my dad bought 2 guitars, one for him and one for me, so he could like
love that.
engage with me. And we were playing
Was it a
these.
silver tone? Was it acoustic or was it electric? And these are supposed to be comfortable, but
Well,
they're not. Anyway.
well, no, I'm good. The guitar that my dad bought for himself, I still have it. It's a Gibson. It's a J50 from
Oh
1965
my God, that's a valuable
or
guitar
something.
now.
Oh, it's a beautiful guitar, and it's
Yeah.
in great shape.
Oh.
But I don't remember exactly. But we were learning like folk tunes, like there was
Paul and Mary. Shit like
yeah, and even more
Puff the Magic Dragon.
even more nerdy things. There was a song called "Go Tell Aunt Rhody That the Old Gray Goose Is Dead."
Oh, Jesus.
I remember my dad and I picking it out, and then I got into bands, and I had a guitar teacher. My mom used to schlep me like almost 30 minutes to a guitar teacher who was tremendous. His name was Stu Pierce, and Stu has his own, like, he's passed away many years, but he has his like own fan club on Facebook.
Oh, wow.
And so he taught me so much about music theory and stuff. He never told me I'm teaching you music theory, but that's what he was teaching me.
Wow.
And it was really great
What an
stuff.
invaluable, talked to a lot of engineers, and there is, again, a running theme where most of them played an instrument. There are certainly great producers and great engineers that are not musicians, but it's a common thread.
Oh, yeah.
And guitar is a common thread.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For boys, it's also how you meet the girls.
I was just going to say, it's how you get the chicks, man.
how you get
Do you ever
the-
see those little jokes online? Like, they'll show the guitar player with like 5 women. They'll show the bass player.
Has
nobody.
Has nobody, yeah. No, that's funny. Even though Paul McCartney was a bass player.
Oh, yeah.
Or is a bass player, sorry. But so you're growing up in this great town, lovely parents,
Yeah.
idyllic childhood. We are both blessed that way.
Super blessed.
Super lucky. And I think a lot to be said. And I think this, God bless these small towns, and God bless, all these parents who were so good to us, and mom and dad. But you start playing guitar. Now, did you form a band?
Of course.
What was the name of your first band?
The States of Mind.
That's pretty
The
esoteric.
States of Mind.
Okay, I did drugs later. We won't talk about drugs, but
Oh, no, this was before drugs.
before drugs, but states of
The
mind.
States of Mind. I don't think I smoked pot maybe, well, I'd have to really think about it, but maybe around the time or shortly after I saw Hendrix, maybe.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I was smoking pot when I first was listening to Hendrix.
Yeah.
But
The states of mind. Now, did you play like high school dances?
yeah, exactly. Well, our high school was fortunate enough to have a
Public school or parochial school?
this was public school.
Okay, gotcha.
And we had like a place that was called the Corral, and that's where hangouts would happen.
Is it like a teen canteen kind of
Yeah,
vibe?
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. A teen canteen.
Yeah.
So we had a place called the Corral. So we would play at the Corral and
I'll see you Saturday at the corral.
exactly. And so, I had, various bands.
Were you the band leader?
I was.
Did you sing?
I did.
Wow.
I did. Yeah, I did.
I can totally see this, by the way. Heartthrob, John Van Ness.
I should have brought something else. Gosh darn it.
It's all right. We'll do show tell later.
I'll tell you something really kind of fun.
Cool.
You bring that up.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, and just like you're doing here with this podcast, I knew that, I hope I don't get emotional here, but I knew that all my friends that I had grown up with were going to splinter off at college,
Yeah.
and that might be kind of the end of many
Yeah.
great relationships.
Yeah.
So I thought, you know what? I want to leave them with something by which they will remember me. And so I went into a recording studio and I made an album. And I
Was it like $10 a song, or was it a real place? Or?
no, it was a real Oh well, no, it was a real place. It was a
Yeah.
real place. It didn't
Wow.
have an SSL, but it was a real place.
Yeah.
And I took 2 days or so to record it all, and then
How many songs?
10.
Oh
It was
my
an
God.
album.
Where
Yeah.
is this? Where is this? Does it live on? Do we have copy?
Well, I didn't bring a copy.
Oh, no,
I
but-
do have some copies.
Good.
I'll tell you some funny
Good.
stories about that.
Yeah.
Anyway, on Christmas Eve, I had someone take, the photographs of the front and the back, and I had peel and stick kind of things, and I put the front and the back on, and packaged it all.
album.
And then on Christmas Eve, I drove around to all my friends' houses in the middle of the night, like at 1 a.m.
Oh, my God.
And opened up the screen door and put the album there, and then took off.
And you didn't get shot.
I didn't get shot. Yeah, although it was icy out. I'll tell you, that was
Dangerous.
Christmas in Chicago.
Yeah.
And the next morning, of course, my phone was ringing off the hook. People had gotten it. They were like,
This is not a cell phone, by the way. This is a landline.
This is right, exactly. The landline just blowing up on Christmas morning. Anyway, so I did that, and
What was the name of the album?
A Rainy Afternoon.
I love you so much right now.
Yeah, A Rainy Afternoon. And
Was it folkish?
yes, 100%.
Okay.
Most of it was just guitar and voice.
Acoustic.
But then I did have 2 or 3 songs where I had my friend bass player and drummer and the whole thing. So that was fun. But I did that, and I originally pressed up 100. Well, they were gone. Like by the end of Christmas Day, people who had not gotten one were calling me going, can I get a copy?
Oh, my God. Look at you, entrepreneur.
So then I pressed up another 250, and
Oh, my God.
I sold them all.
I love you. How much did it cost? You remember how much it cost to get it done? All said and done?
I would say probably $1,000 to do it all
Wow.
for the studio time. And,
Wow.
I think I paid my friend $50 for photographs and, blah, blah, blah. But
Did you have a high school job? Did you like deliver papers or something like that? How did you have money? Allowance?
Allowance, but I also, I worked some odd jobs, and I used to what we called loop, which means being a caddy
Yep.
at the golf
At the
course.
golf course. Yeah, I grew up right by a golf course.
So you say, well,
Yeah.
what are you doing today? Well, I'm going to have to loop today.
Yeah.
I'm actually doing 2 loops.
We could watch the movie Caddyshack, and we could imagine young John as a caddy.
Yeah. And so I had some money.
I love that you made a record.
But let me just
Yeah,
keep that for
go.
a minute. This is funny.
Go. That's why you're here.
So about maybe it was at Resonate. So I've been at Resonate for 21 years. So it was probably maybe 15 years
That's
ago.
the name of John's studio.
About 15 years ago, I got an email from someone saying, "Hey, are you the guy that made this album in Chicago?" And I wrote him back. I said, "Yes, I'm the guy." And he was writing me from Washington, state of Washington. Like he had come across it in some bin and, was reaching out to me, and he found me. And I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 months later, I got another one from back east, similar type thing. "Hey, are you the guy that did this?"
Rainy afternoon?
Yeah.
Okay.
A rainy afternoon. And eventually I got one from Europe. I got this guy from Europe going, "Hey, I just got your album at some store. Are you the guy?" So anyway.
I'm the guy. Are you the guy?
So I happened at that time to be working on a project with my friend Ed Sanders. And he was like, "Let's go on eBay and see if we see any of them." And lo and behold, we went on eBay and there was one up there that was being sold. I don't know if it was from her, but it was my old girlfriend because she had her name scribbled on the fucking label.
How much are they selling it for?
A lot of money.
Holy
like
crap.
$240 or
What?
something. Yes. Because apparently what happened was somehow.
It's a cult classic.
So yeah, exactly. Somehow it became on some lists of records that were ultra rare and sought after for whatever the fuck that means.
I love this.
Isn't that crazy? That's something I did.
How old were you when you did it? When you made the record?
Well, that was 1970, so I was 16 or 17.
Wow.
But isn't it funny? Here, this is in 2010. I'm getting, hit up by people 40 years later from kind of around the world going.
Which, by the way, okay, well, so I will not be able to leave this earth without hearing
Oh, well.
A Rainy Afternoon at some point in time.
Well, Candace, if I have anything to say about it, there is absolutely no chance you will be hearing that record. Now, I often wonder, like Neil Young, I'm a big fan, but I'm thinking like Neil, how do you still go up there and play songs from basically your youth, Whereas I look at this record I make and think, oh my God, that was horrible.
Well, we live and we learn. So
Yeah, exactly,
yeah,
right.
so this is the illustrious beginning of the career of Rainy Afternoon, and I love that you did that. That's fucking awesome. So you're the producer, you're the
Yeah.
guitar player, you're the singer,
Yeah.
you're the songwriter.
Yeah.
I told you he was multi-talented.
Yeah.
When did you first realize that you wanted to get into the engineering side of things, or what happened? Were you doing the PA? Were you running the PA for the band?
No,
or anything like
no,
that?
no, no, none of that. I went to college for a couple years in Colorado. That's actually where I met Carla.
Oh,
But I was just studying just stuff, general stuff.
Yeah, I
and
get-
I
I
said to
would-
my parents, I really miss like studying music. So they said, well, do you want to go to Berkeley in Boston? So I went to Berkeley for a couple years.
nice.
And that was wonderful. Berkeley was really young at that time. In fact, on the drive over here, I was like, I wonder when Berkeley started, because I was there in like 73. So I was there for a couple years and I really enjoyed that. But eventually I thought, I really want to get into the music business. So I said to Carla, well, we either have to go to LA or we have to go to New York. And,
Yeah.
we were both like,
Fuck the cold.
New York sounds cold.
Oh yeah.
And she was from Cleveland, I was from Chicago. We're like, that
Fuck the
sounds
cold.
too much like where we were trying to get away from. So
Yeah.
let's go to L.A.
Dude, you can't beat the weather. It's
No,
a
you-
beautiful day today outside.
No, you
it's
can't.
incredible.
No, L.A. is
Oh my God.
know,
So
it's-
so you come out here, winging a prayer, newly married.
100%.
Do you have kids? I never asked.
Yeah, we do have 2 children.
Oh,
Yep,
wow,
and they're
okay.
grown, and now we have a grandchild.
Congratulations
Yeah.
on that. I don't have kids,
Yeah.
but God bless them.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So you guys were married, but you didn't have
Well,
kids
we
yet.
actually weren't married. We lived together for a long time before.
Got it. Yeah,
Finally,
me
she
too.
said, "Hey, I want to have kids, so motherfucker better marry."
Yeah,
me,"
very nice,
so,
very nice.
we didn't get married for like 10 years.
Yeah, Brian and I lived together for 7 years before we got married.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, no, we came out here, and
What did Carla do for a living?
Carla was a waitress.
Yeah, me too. I was a bartender.
Now, eventually, and by the way, you've come to know her a bit from Il Fornaio, which I don't know if you know.
They closed.
They closed. No, it's closed, and it's now Javier's, which is a high-end.
I know, Mexican place. They have one in Newport.
You will not believe what they did to that space. They just reopened maybe a month, 6 weeks
Is it cool?
ago. I haven't walked in it, but I've seen photos, and it's unreal.
Well, the one in Newport's legendary.
It's I would call this legendary from the photographs. I mean, I was like,
I love Il Fornado, and I think they're closing the one in Beverly Hills too.
Carla told me, I
Are
think.
they closing all of them or just?
I'm not sure.
Bummer. Great Italian restaurant. If you're listening to this in LA, if you get a chance, go to Il Fornado before they close, and also go to Javier's.
And
Javier's rad.
Javier's is also
Yeah.
But I can't even believe the number they did on that space. It's stunning.
So is she retired from doing the management stuff?
Yeah. She was a waitress for a long time. Which, by the way, here's a hot tip for
Best training ever, by the way.
for the musicians out there, marry a wife or marry someone or hang with someone who is a waitress, because they'll bring in the steady income while you
And food and cash.
exactly
bring
food
in food
and
and
cash, so the
Yeah.
musicians
Yeah.
can basically
Yeah.
fluff off.
Yeah.
You know,
What's a guitar player without a girlfriend? Homeless. Boom, boom.
exactly.
Yeah, no, it's funny. My husband jokes and says he'd be living in a van down by the river. I'm like, no, I don't think so. But I love this though. So you decided you leave Colorado and you said we're going to go to LA
Yeah.
and you wing it.
Yeah. We're completely winging it. She got a job immediately at a place called the Magic Pan, which made,
I love the Magic Pan.
that made crepes. And so, I mean, she got a job like the first day, and I was like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I remember that place.
So, Carla has been so supportive in that way over my entire life.
Well, you've done okay, John. We'll get to some of your accolades.
I'm
and
not so
credits.
sure that I've, depends what okay means.
You survived.
You don't get rich being a recording
trust
studio
me.
owner.
Trust
Okay.
me, yeah, or manager, yeah, no, you don't,
No,
yeah.
no.
Oh, you do it because you love it. And
Yeah, exactly.
we were saying, if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. That's that saying, and it's so true.
Yeah.
So you come out here now. You had the background in music. You wanted to get into the business side.
Yeah.
What job did you get, or how did you sort of get into the?
Well, I kind of kicked around town. I actually drove around with my guitar down to Hollywood, or I'd take the bus from fucking Sierra Madre down to Hollywood
Beautiful
and play
Sierra
for any publisher that would listen.
Yep.
And that was a
Remember, Chrysalis was at 9,000.
yes,
Sunset?
right. Well, I think that was a little bit after
Oh, okay.
this time period. Anyway, so I did that for a while, and I took a job at a place that did tape duplicating.
Okay.
Actually, right at the corner of Highland and Melrose, it was called AT&T Recording, and I took that job for a couple years. But then what I really wanted to do, Candace, was get a job in A&R. That's what I really wanted.
Yeah, you want to
do.
develop artists.
But you have
You wanted
to
to find the Beatles, the
exactly.
next Beatles.
But I didn't know anybody out here, and a lot of that is kind of who you
It's
know,
cliquish,
and
yeah.
it's cliquish. And
Yeah,
one day I got a call. Do you know who Michael Gorfain is?
of course. Gorfain, Schwartz later. But
Okay.
yeah,
So Michael and I worked together at this tape duplicating place way back in
famous manager.
Yeah, it's incredible,
Yeah.
super famous.
Yeah.
And Michael called me
Was
one
that
day.
the company, Gorfain Schwartz?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's it. Yes. Michael called me one day. This was after we had both left that company that was doing the tape duplicating. He said, "Hey, look, I've got a friend in the Valley who has a recording studio in his home. He needs a helper. John, I think you'd be great at it." And I was like, Michael, I want to work like at a record company, a studio. I don't know much
I
about.
think Michael had a good idea.
And so I went and talked to this guy, and boom, he hired me. And
Who was it?
His name is Tom Seufert.
Okay,
And
that's actually familiar.
he had a studio in the Valley in a home, actually. Funny, this is way back in 1978.
Yeah.
There were no home studios
home studios,
other than Tom's. It was called Red Wing, had a great Series 80B, and he had really good clients, good friends. Bill Schnee was there a lot.
Wow.
So
Great engineer.
an amazing engineer.
Incredible.
And I'll never forget my first day with Bill. I just met the guy. Have you ever met Bill?
Oh, yes, I love him. He's
He-
been
he-
very kind to me.
He's a gentle giant.
Oh,
He kind of has an imposing physical.
does.
But he's he's the most wonderful.
He makes
man.
you want to do your best. That's what I'll say.
Absolutely.
About
So
Bill.
anyway, it's my first day with Bill, and I get him set up, and then he turns around to me and he says, "Okay, now you're gonna sit there, and I don't want to hear one fucking word out of your mouth unless I talk to you. Do you understand?"
Good training.
And I was like, "Bill, I got you, my friend."
Yes.
So I sat there and I never said a fucking word. And Bill and I eventually we got along
From
really
working
good.
at the tape duplication place, had you ever laid hands on a 24-track machine?
No.
No, you hadn't. So you were
No.
probably doing like 2-track to 2-track, or what kind
Yeah,
of
yeah.
transfers
The
were you doing?
tape duplicating was like voiceover talent
got
would
it.
come in and go, "Hey, I need a demo reel. I need 100
yeah,
copies. Just
gotcha.
a little reel to reel to
Gotcha.
reel." Or maybe some company wants to do a training tape and it could be 45 minutes long
Got
and
it.
they need 500
But
copies.
format, not a format like we know.
No,
2-inch or anything like that.
No, nothing like that.
Interesting.
And I didn't have to align
Yeah.
machines and shit
Turn
like
it on
that.
and off, yeah.
Yeah. So I started with Tom, and Bill was great. Oh, I also worked with Roy Halley. He did all the
Yes.
Simon and Garfunkel
Yes,
records.
I'm aware.
And I was.
you know who's here today?
What's
Actually, I
it?
probably shouldn't say that. Paul Simon's wife is here today.
Oh,
working
yeah.
in the
Well,
other-
I just heard him say that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, it's cool. Edie Brickell.
Yeah, Edie Brickell. Yeah. So anyway, I was really loving working with Roy. And funny enough, quick little story. Roy pulled me aside one day and he said, "Hey, John, the guys in Florida, the Mac Emmerman, the Criteria people,
Yeah.
they're going to open Criteria West, and I'm heading it."
I didn't know there was a Criteria West here, ever.
It never happened.
Oh, okay.
Never happened.
Okay.
But he said,
Wasn't Tom Dowd working out of Criteria at one point in time?
probably yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
In Florida. Anyway, go ahead.
And that's where all the Beach Boy records
Oh,
were
yeah.
being done, of course. So anyway, he said,
Except for here.
Yes, I want you to come work for me when I get it open." And I was like, "Roy," I mean, I was so
I'm your man.
I
Yeah.
was so flattered, and it's not that I was unhappy at Red Wing, but this was an opportunity I would not have been able to pass up. So it was in all the trades that they were opening, and it even said the corner at which they were going to build from the ground up. I kept driving by the corner every 3 months, and Carla would say, anything going on there? I'd say, no, nothing's going on. Eventually, it came out that they had ultimately decided not to go forward with it. But I was like super disappointed.
Oh man.
Um,
But so when you're working with Roy and working with Bill, you didn't really know about engineering,
well,
did you?
actually, I think I might have skipped over. I think I took like an engineering course.
In Colorado?
No, here.
Oh, okay. Oh, right. And you went to Berkeley. I forgot about that.
And I did go to Berkeley, although they weren't teaching that kind of thing. But I think when Carl and I moved out here, I took a course in engineering. And one of the things that the teacher was a guy named Michael Boshears, who was working with Wendy Waldman on her
Okay.
records.
Amazing.
And so he picked me out of school and said, I've got some sessions with Wendy. Will you come and assist?
Oh, so you kind of learned.
So I kind of had a little. Yes, I did.
Got
I
you.
kind of forgot about that.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
then I ended up
Because
over.
when we started, for the nanosecond that I did it, when you were an assistant, you were the tape op.
Yes,
You
you
ran
were.
the tape machine.
Yeah.
You know, so that was, and also had to know everything else,
Yeah.
patch bay, et cetera. But really, you were running the tape machine.
Yeah. Where was that, by the way? Where were you doing that?
I started working for my second oldest brother, Steve. He had a room at the old Kendon after Kendon
Okay.
shut down. After Kendon shut down, he leased a room from the landlord there, and the guy's name was Bob Hacken. He had a pro audio place, sold gear, like everything audio, same time frame, and it was called Take One. So it was at 619.
Oh yeah. I remember Take One.
So Take One was on the right, and Red Zone was on the left. So I worked for Steve at Take One for a couple years, and he left and went to Seattle, and I walked across the breezeway. And I asked the guys at Red Zone for a job, and I worked there for a while. So that's where I started. And
Okay.
then I came, and then I went to Soundcastle, and then I came here.
Was that where a Shell, where you were working with?
Yeah, the Shell session was at Take One.
Okay, fine.
And
Yeah,
also
good.
because my brothers had worked at the record plant, when Steve decided to open this room,
Yep.
he reached out to Mike Klink and David Bianco and all his guys that were his peers from the record plant. And the first session I booked as a manager was Appetite for Destruction with Mike Klink.
Oh my God.
Who I still love. I love
Now-
you, Michael, and
now
I'm going to
listen.
get you on this show.
I'm going to tell you something that I
Yeah.
think you might not know.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
I probably don't.
Do you know when they were doing Appetite for Destruction, some of it was done at the record plant
And Rumbo.
and Rumbo.
Yeah.
So maybe several places, but at that time, the record plant was right around the corner from Image Recording.
Yes, of course. We're talking on Sycamore?
On Sycamore.
Okay.
Mike called one day and he said, I'm working over at the record plant. I need another room to do vocals. And I said, Mike, come on over.
And did you wait for Axel, and did he ever show?
Axel showed. And when I saw Mike, one of the more recent times, which was maybe, I don't know, 8 or 10
I
years
saw him
ago.
at the Evergreen party.
Oh, yeah, I missed him somehow.
yeah.
I hate missing people, but
It's all good.
anyway, yeah, I later, seeing all these pictures, I never saw that brother. I never saw that.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
A lot of people.
So anyway, but he told me, he said, when I saw him, I don't know, a time or two ago, he said, John, do you remember that, when I came over with Axel to do vocals, do you remember the first thing we did in your B room on your Trident A range? We did the vocal for Sweet Child,
Child
of
of
Mine.
Mine, what a great song.
Yeah.
What a great
So
song.
Mike told me, I had kind of forgotten if I ever remembered because I wasn't
for
working on the
you.
session. But he said, yeah, that was the first thing we recorded in that room. And I think they ended up, I think.
Did Mike engineer it, or did you? Or
No,
did
no,
Phil?
no, I was
Phil
not
was his guy.
I was not involved. We'd have to ask Mike.
And then Macasia Ryan came along later from working at Take One. But Phil, I can't believe it. Phil, I'm sorry, I forgot your last name. He came from Fantasy originally. He worked for Klink and he worked for Richie Zito, but he did lots of stuff with Mike.
I kind of feel like Mike engineered it.
He probably did.
I think he did.
Mike probably did. Well, and I knew Mike because when I met him, he was the phone guy at the record plant when I would come out and visit in high school because my
gosh.
brothers worked at the record plant.
Right.
And my brother Rick, who is actually visiting from South Carolina right now, who's here, he was Ron Nevison's guy.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And then Ron, I love you.
Yeah, we all love Ron.
Ron was tough, and Rick and Ron had a kerfuffle,
Yeah.
and they pulled Mike off the desk, and Mike became Ron's guy, and that kind of launched Mike Klink's career as he worked for Nevison for quite a few years.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
did all that stuff and honed his craft,
Yeah.
as it were. And work. I mean, Ron Nevison, great engineer,
Oh.
great chief engineer, great tech. Originally was a singer.
I did not know
Actually,
that.
yeah.
I did.
Badass producer. Jesus. Excuse me, but still producing. Love Ron, fucking amazing. But all these people that you meet along the way, like Mike reminding you that you did that.
Yeah.
And these things, we're just working.
Yeah,
It's just
right.
another day.
Right.
You're
So
just going in.
We're
and-
on the stream. And
yeah,
it's just,
you're just getting shit done, and then you look back later and you're like, holy crap.
Yeah.
The Sweet Child of Mine vocal.
Yeah,
You can't,
how about-
it's awesome.
How about that?
That's awesome. Now I always tease you, but I think I'm going to mess it up because I can't remember a track that you did, and it was a David Bowie track. And is it TVC15 or
Okay,
Friday on My Mind? I got it all fucked up.
Yeah, you have it all fucked up.
Okay, tell me. 'Cause-
I never worked with David Bowie.
okay, what was it that I thought
My
you
partner,
did?
Harry Maslin.
That was it.
Harry-
Was Maslin.
Harry worked on Young Americans.
Yes.
I don't remember if Harry engineered the whole
Did Harry
album.
pass? Is Harry-
No,
He's
not
with
that
us?
I'm aware of. No, I don't
Okay.
think so.
Okay.
No, we don't speak, but
Yeah.
no, I hope he's in good health.
Yeah, of course,
I
of
hope
course.
that's the case. And Harry had,
Great record, by the way, Young American.
oh yeah.
Any Bowie.
Now I'm not sure if he engineered the whole thing or mixed it only. I'm not really sure,
I
but
remember he did a lot, so it's
he might have produced it.
Yeah.
For some reason, I kind of don't feel he did, but he might have. But he did for sure produce Station to Station.
What a great
Which,
album.
incredible album. So that's where the connection is.
Okay, right,
Yeah.
right. Now, did he do it at?
No. That was way
All New
That was
York?
all before. No,
London,
Station
maybe?
to Station was done at Cherokee.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I forgot Bowie did a lot of work with the Rob Brothers Cherokee. You'll hear me talk about various studios over time with different people that I talk to. And again, I'll have to say,
Yeah.
small community, all of the studios. And
100%.
yeah, anyway, but I want to get back to you. So you were working and and then it didn't happen with Criteria.
That's right. Didn't happen with
So
Criteria.
where did you go work with Schnee, or what did you do?
I've got a great little story.
Cool.
It's going to be a story that there is some sadness in it, and I
Okay.
hope I also don't get emotional because it's kind of you'll see why. But it's a story that I think you'll appreciate because you know the studio business and blah blah blah. So Bill Schnee had told me, you're going to sit here, you're not going to say a word, keep your eye on what's happening in the room at all time, blah blah blah. So about a year into my stay there at Red Wing, we had a girl group come in for a couple weeks to do vocals. The girl group was called Tuxedo Junction.
Oh, I remember that.
They were
band.
a disco group that kind of did old standards in a disco mode.
I remember that band.
They were there at Red Wing for a couple weeks. And I was the assistant, so I sat in my chair in the corner in the back, not saying anything. And there wasn't a lot for me to do. I mean, yes, I would put up a new tape if they're going to move from one song to
Yeah,
another. And I set the mic up at the beginning of the 2 weeks, but for the rest of it, I had very little to do. But as I'm sitting there, and I was always kind of the mindset, try to make yourself useful.
Yeah,
God
for
darn
sure.
it. Don't
Yeah.
just sit there.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm sitting there for a couple days, and oh bless
Excuse
you,
me.
bless you,
Thank
bless
you.
your
Yeah, go
heart.
ahead.
So I'm sitting there, and these guys were smoking cigarettes all day long.
Oh, yeah.
I never smoked cigarettes, but I'm watching them smoke and then put their butts out in the ashtray. Now, I know enough about smoking cigarettes to know that you're supposed to take your butt and put it at the bottom, and that's what extinguishes the fire. Okay, fine. But I'm realizing, hey, after you've got 20 butts already in the ashtray, now you're just kind of putting your butt out on other ashtrays.
That's gross.
That's gross,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
So that night on the way home, I went to Walgreens. I picked up 2 or 3 $3 fucking ashtrays.
Bought more ashtrays.
Bought my ashtrays. I kept them down by my chair. When they'd take a break, I'd take one. I'd put it up there. I'd take
Get a clean ashtray. It's
yeah,
all about the details.
exactly right. And so I took the other ashtray into the kitchen, cleaned it out, put it back down here. Never said a word. No one ever said anything about it. I made no deal about it. It was just something I was doing
Yeah.
at every opportunity when they were taking a break. the end of the project, the guy, the producer says, "Hey, John, we are going down to a nice studio in Hollywood to mix this project. It's called Alan Zentz Recording. It's on at 1020 North Sycamore."
Okay.
And I said, and when we booked the session, they asked us if we knew any great assistant engineers. And we said, you, of course.
Aw.
And I was like, oh my God, I am so flattered. You know, I'm not sure what to say. I mean, I haven't really done, other than putting up tapes and setting the mic up, I've basically done nothing for you on the session. And they said, John,
You changed the act.
it was the ashtrays. It was the ashtrays.
See, that's the kind of shit people remember.
And we, you know, these were two guy producers, and they were like, you know, we felt that like anyone who could think kind of down at that level and do that for us, like, you're going to do all right.
Oh,
And so
it's so true.
And so they said, will you please go down and take an interview with these people? And I said, gosh, guys, I'm honored. And yes, of course, I will. So here's where it gets a little twisty and turny, but it's an incredible story. So I interviewed with this guy named Steve Conger at Alan Zentz on a Wednesday night at like 7 o'clock or something. The interview went really well. And at the end of it, Steve offered me a job. He said, I want you to come work for us. And I was like, wow, I'm so honored. And he said, you know, what do you think about that? I said, well, I would want to give Tom Seufert, my current boss, 2 weeks notice. And it's Wednesday night. Can I call you Monday and just give you a final okay? And he said, yeah, call us Monday morning.
Nice.
All good. Friday, 2 days later, I get a phone call from someone else at the studio at Alan Zentz. And they said, are you the guy that Steve interviewed on Wednesday night? I said, yeah, I'm the guy. They said, well, what's your decision? And I said, well,
I had till Monday.
I told Steve I would, you know, call him on Monday.
Uh-huh.
And they said, well, something's happened in the meanwhile. And I said, oh. They said, well, here's what happened. After you interviewed with Steve, he went home to his apartment on Fairfax, 2-story apartment, courtyard in the middle. He was up in his apartment. He hears a scuffle down in the courtyard, and he sees this guy beating up on this old man.
Oh.
He runs down. He yells at the guy. He runs down. The guy takes off. You know, he goes to the old man, who's still alive and breathing, and he says, you know, are you okay? And he says, yeah, I'm okay. I'm a little achy and stuff. And Steve says, I'm going to go call the police. The payphone is under the stairwell. And then I'm going to come right back, and I'm going to stay till the police come and help you. The police arrive. Steve calls them. They say, we're already on our way. He comes out from the stairwell, and the police thought that he was the bad guy.
They shot him.
And they shot him.
Fuck.
And they killed him.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, accidents happen, but how tragic.
Yeah.
So they wanted you to come work because they needed somebody?
Well,
I mean,
yes,
it's
well,
fucked up, but
well, let me
more or
continue. It gets even more
That's
interesting.
crazy.
So they told me, Steve, we were just finishing a major project. Steve has been the assistant the whole time. Everyone's devastated. The producer's devastated. The artist is devastated. The engineer. All of us at the staff are devastated. But we need someone on Monday because they have a deadline and they need to come back to finish up.
Who was the band?
So on Monday morning, I'm in a room with Michael and Quincy and Bruce, and I'm the assistant engineer.
Bruce Swedien, Michael Jackson, and Quincy Jones.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Well, that's so sad, but such a happy thing that comes from it.
Absolutely.
So God bless Steve.
Well, God bless Steve. Now, the early
Yeah.
pressings of the album were dedicated to the memory of Steve Conger. But,
The name was familiar to me.
you know, what's interesting is that,
Dude, Swedien, best teacher ever.
well, yes. Well, we might talk about that. But
Yeah.
anyway, what's crazy to think is that this happened to me because of the ashtrays.
Oh yeah.
This whole
Yeah,
thing.
that's not that crazy to me though,
This-
because I'm a
this-
very detail oriented. That's been my mantra.
You know, and
Yeah.
I've tried to impart upon the
Bathrooms,
hundreds of kids that
kitchen.
I've employed, like, it's not always about, you know, how well you know Pro Tools, or, do you know what kind of a mic this is, or this and that. A lot of times it's the little things.
It's about being a good hang.
And it's about
Good
being a
vibe.
good hang. Well, of
Yeah,
course, that
yeah.
of course you have to be. But
Oh my
it's
God.
so that happened all because of the ashtrays. So yeah, I found myself in the room with Quincy and Bruce
Pay
and Michael.
attention.
Pay attention. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, so I finished out that album. I didn't get credit because it was already really towards the end of the record.
Right.
But Quincy and Bruce were getting ready to start on the Brothers Johnson and Rufus and Chaka Khan and a bunch of things. So I just continued on with them. Now
Nice.
you mentioned Chicago. We got along because we all
References.
we all had
Quincy?
history in Chicago.
Yeah, Quincy.
Bruce grew up
Bruce.
in Minnesota, but then went to
Chicago. Yeah.
Yes, so
Yeah.
all of that. So we got along well.
One of the things I don't know if I am imagining this or overheard it or something. I was around Bruce. I don't even remember what he was working on, but I remember him saying to someone in the room, "Don't overthink it. Pick a mic that you know that you like and you trust. Put it where you think it ought to be, and then
Yeah.
leave it alone."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
don't obsess.
Yes.
Even though he was probably one of the best engineers that ever lived.
Yes.
You
yeah.
know,
Absolutely.
A natural, but had that ease with the artist.
Yeah.
Had that I was talking to someone earlier about the trust that happens between the engineer and artist, and how vulnerable artists are when they're doing a vocal or they're coming in. I used to call it like they come in to the producer and they go, "Here's my baby, don't kill my baby."
Yeah,
Like with the
yeah,
song
yeah.
or the project or whatever. And it's so important. We'd all agree that it's about the art, it's about the artist. We're here we're subservient to them. We're here to serve them.
Yeah.
Without question.
Yeah.
And to make it easier for them to create,
Yes.
whether it's the environment, the gear, etc., the vibe, but without someone to capture it, without
Yeah.
the engineer, no one would hear it.
Yeah.
So
you're right.
I'm a big fan,
Yeah.
obviously, of the unsung heroes.
Yes.
I don't say unsung because
Yeah.
Swedien certainly
Yeah.
noted, but
Yeah.
engineers,
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, God bless.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in the house that Bill Putnam built.
Yes. Exactly. Right.
So Chicago.
Chicago. Exactly.
And the stories that I was told by Bill Putnam Jr. and various people when I first came here in 1998 was that Frank and Bing Crosby had already knew Quincy, and that Quincy said to them, "Oh, you got to meet this cat, Bill Putnam," and they convinced Bill, like, "LA's where it's at. You got to come out," because Frank and Bing bought this place when Frank got out of his contract with EMI and started Reprise, which was, early imprint on Warner.
Yeah.
The office was actually here in the building.
I didn't. Yeah.
So
I didn't
the
know
Reprise office was here. So for some time, and then Bill comes out, and Bill's an amazing designer, acoustician, gear designer. The rest is,
Yeah.
We stand on the shoulders of giants.
Absolutely. 100%.
I'm just saying. But the Tom Dowds, the people flying by the seat of their pants then, who were taking stuff that was basically broadcast and modifying it to use for recording.
Yeah.
You think about it now, and it's like mad scientists.
It was.
Right?
Yes.
Just winging it. I remember, and this is about you, but I want to tell you this story along those lines of the little things, the detail, the creativity. A lot of people know the stories of Jeff Emmerich at Abbey Road and how they were ruled by this rigid technical team where you couldn't put a certain mic on a certain instrument and you had to put it in a certain place. And Jeff was, he was being creative. And the story's a famous story about how they fired Jeff because he places a microphone somewhere or whatever. And I don't know if it was George Martin. I think it was actually John Lennon. I think it was the band. And they went back to the Abbey Road powers that be.
Yeah.
I think it was at Abbey Road or EMI, but I think it was Abbey Road. And they said, look, if you fire him, we're going to leave.
Yeah.
Because he's part of our
Yes.
our team.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And you have, Alan, Alan Parsons just tape-opping.
Right.
You know what I mean? I tease Alan about that. Pictures of young Alan Parsons in the background on the Beatles documentary, running the tape,
Yes.
Anyway,
It's funny.
but it's funny, right? But Jeff told me a story about Across the Universe. And he said what he did was he set up microphones and speakers in a circle, and he said that he put John on a swing. A hanging swing.
Wow.
And that he pushed him.
Right. And
This
so
could be all bullshit. He's
Right.
dead now, so we'll never know. But he told me,
Right.
he said, I pushed him, and he was moving. He was spinning in a big circle in
Yeah.
the room while they were singing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my
And that
gosh.
was one of the things that he thought of
Yeah.
to do
Yeah.
creatively.
Yeah.
And I thought, how cool is that?
Yeah.
How cool is that? So I'm so grateful that I've been able to have a career working with you talented guys
Well,
and
yeah.
helping people make records and get out of the way.
Well, I'm grateful as well that I have come to know some of these guys that I consider to be greats. But the Beatles rewrote the history. I mean, they rewrote the book about how to make records.
They also created the 12-hour day. And for that, I would like to
Right.
kick somebody's ass.
Yeah.
Okay. Because before that, I think it was like an 8-hour day.
Well. By the way, if I was going to mention this earlier when we were talking about Quincy and Bruce and things that they've said or allegedly said, I remember like early on, like maybe at the end of the first day with them, I said, "What time do we start tomorrow?" And Quincy and Bruce are like, "Well, like the same as always, crack of noon."
Yeah.
And they'd work till 6 p.m. But something else that Bruce did.
They didn't work longer?
No.
God, you're
no.
lucky.
I think they were out of there by 6 o'clock.
They got to go to
generally.
dinner. They got to go hook up
Well,
with Quincy's got to hook up with the ladies.
especially Quincy.
Yeah.
Bruce was happily married with B.
God, and Quincy too. The greatest and wonderful dad. QD3, love you.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, just what a charmer.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Bruce did something, gave me some advice early on in my life that I've never forgotten. We were, one thing that's nice about being an assistant and being an engineer is that oftentimes, you're in this room with the other person for hours, days, maybe weeks, just the two of you.
Yeah.
So you really
Become friends.
You really come to know people.
Yeah.
You
agreed.
really do. You
Yeah.
know them inside and out.
Yeah,
really.
stresses. Good up, down.
Yeah, you know them.
Yeah.
And so we were sitting there one day. I'm in my chair back there, not saying nothing. And Bruce stops the tape machine and he turns around. He says, "John, I want to tell you something." He said, "You got that mustache."
Yeah.
I want to tell you something. You need to treat every single session as the most important session of your entire life.
I agree.
I don't care if you're working with a famous artist like Michael, or if you're working with someone that will never
Amount to a hill of beans.
amount to
Yeah.
much professionally. It doesn't matter. You need to come into that room every day ready to give 101% to every single session.
Excellent advice.
And don't let me down on that. And I've carried that with me my whole life.
I tell my staff that. I'm like, look, and when the phone, from my side of things, when the phone rings, I'm like, look, you don't know who's on the other end of that phone. It doesn't matter that they're famous or not famous. Everybody makes a first record. A more recent case in point would be Jeff Ellis, who's an alum of East West, who's
Right.
gone on to be very successful, who has a room here. I love him so much. But the phone rings one day, and it's for a vocal for this artist named Frank Ocean. I didn't know who Frank
yeah.
Ocean was.
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
happened to me many times.
Yeah, of
in my
course,
career.
of course.
But that was a recent one. And I said, Jeff, and Jeff was just starting to assist. And I said, Jeff, you got to do this session. Jeff does the vocals. They hit it off. They form a bond. He becomes Frank's guy, gets a Grammy. Boom, boom, boom. A career is made. And I tell my staff that. I'm like, look, it doesn't matter.
Yes.
It's not it's not up to you. Yeah, I was on a panel one time. You're going to crack up. So I was on a panel one time. This is kind of the other side of that coin. I was on a panel one time, with Rob Goodchild, who was at United, and I think Amy was at Larrabee, and Tina maybe. And the guy stood up in the audience and said, I own a small studio, and it was in Kansas City or someplace. And he said, I have a question for you guys. He goes, what do you do if you don't like the music?
Gosh,
and
yeah.
everyone turns and looks at me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? And they're like, we'll let Candace answer that question. And I said, are you serious? And he said, well, yeah. And I go, you're not the arbiter of musical taste.
Yeah.
I go, you're running a business.
Yeah.
Back to what Bruce said, you're running a business. It's not up to you whether this you like it or they're going to be famous or this, that, and the other. They have good money. They're paying for a service, and you give them the best service they've ever had.
Exactly. Every time.
Every time.
Every time.
You know, and I said to the guy, God, I think I was a little rude. I said, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah,
I think I
right.
said something like
Right,
that.
well, because-
Like, that to me was a stupid question.
Yeah, because people like us don't think like that.
You can't think like that.
No. I mean, that's the furthest thing from our minds.
I guess we became professional and we didn't even
Well,
realize it.
maybe.
But it's such a blessing. And how did you're working you're hanging with the heavies.
Yeah.
You're
yeah.
working with Bruce. Doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah.
And how did you transition from being an assistant to then I'm Noah first engineer to being a studio owner? How did that go down?
Well, interestingly enough, one of the albums I worked on with Quincy and Bruce was a Rufus and Shaka Khan record called Master Jam.
Love Rufus, by the way.
And
Was Andre Fisher the drummer? Probably.
no, John was.
Oh, okay.
JR.
Oh, John Robinson.
Andre was on the earlier records,
stuff.
but this was John.
Okay.
And so I, got to know the band and through the making of that record. And by the way, this is a show and tell time here in a minute because
Okay.
I have something fun to show you.
Oh, okay.
Just a real quick story before I get to the other stuff.
That's why we're here.
So we're doing Master Jam, and Bruce was getting into using dual 24 tracks, locking them
Very
together,
cool.
Okay,
Yeah.
and this was the beginning of that. Like
Master and slave machine.
exactly the master and slave, and I was like, I don't know,
Yeah.
can you say that
It
anymore?
sounds weird, but it's what we call the machines. That's
But
how they run.
At that time, this was the very
One chasing
this
the other
was-
with time code. in case
exactly.
you're
That's
wondering.
the very first time, like
He
when
needed
Bruce
more
was-
tracks.
He needed more
for Michael
exactly.
or Rufus. He needed more than 24.
Exactly. True. So, we had Alan Zentz, where we were working, had machines that were made by Telefunken. Funny enough.
Wow.
Did you ever see a Telefunken 24
No, but
track?
I knew that they made them, and they made incredible radios randomly.
Oh,
as
they
well.
did. Oh, they did. They made a lot of cool
lot of cool
electronic
shit,
stuff.
yeah.
But and funny enough, one of the machines we had was a 2-inch 32-track Telefunken.
Interesting.
We had the 24-track head, and I don't know that we ever even used the 32-track head even
Right,
once.
right.
But anyway, so Bruce was really getting into locking machines together, and at that time there was one box that I remember that was made for the purpose of locking two analog tape machines together.
Wasn't it links, pre-links?
No, this pre-links. It's called like BTX.
Okay.
And guess what, Candace? It was just a box, a gray box about this big. It has two switches, one up and down, the other one up and down.
And what's the input and the output? What's the connector?
You
like
feed,
XLR?
you feed. No, you're feeding some sort of.
Time?
You're feeding time code. I don't remember.
So some sort of SMPTE cable.
Yeah, something. I don't remember that part.
Interesting.
But here's how our day would go. We would look at each other and say, well, okay, let's give
And we're
it a
29.9 or 39 drop. We're talking time
let's
code.
give it a try. And Bruce would say, John, I've got a great suggestion. We're going to start with the box, and both switches will be in the up position. And we'll try it. I said, Bruce, great idea. So we'd hit play on one machine, and the other one might
Try to catch up.
Try to catch up. It seems like it's overshooting. And so we're like, okay, that's not working. John, I have a great idea. We're going to leave.
down.
We're going to leave the left switch in the up position. We're going to take the right switch. We're going to push it to the down position. I said, Bruce, great idea. Let's hit play and see what happens. We hit play. It's kind of catched up. Doesn't look like it's. I don't know. It's
Dude, synchronization.
it's not. Okay, stop it. John, I have a great idea.
We're going to start with both switches.
We're gonna put both switches in the
Yeah.
down position. I said, okay, let's try it. And maybe it would work. Bruce would say, "Oh, it looks like it might be working. Punch in. We can fly these vocals
Oh,
over real
fuck.
quick." This is kind of how
Nerve-wracking.
this was how our days were going. And one day, Bruce comes to me and he says, "John, I have some bad news. Because we can't get these machines working together, we have to pull the project
Oh, shit.
and go somewhere else."
Oh, shit.
And of course, I was heartbroken. And so they went to Kendon, and they finished the project at Kendon.
Oh, my alma mater.
So,
Oh, you do not have a Friends of Kendon book.
no, I do not.
Oh.
have that, no.
There was a newsletter called Friends of Kendon
But I want-
when I started.
I want to show you something. Hold on. So, a couple months later, Bruce comes to the studio to see me.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
It's a tricky baby. It's a heavy puppy. I think we're good.
we might be good. He comes over to see me, and I said, "Oh, Bruce, what's going on?" He said, I brought you something, John." And I said, "Oh, well, that's nice. What do you got?" And he said, "Well, I want to explain something. I know you were really helpful on this project, and when I went to Kendon, I didn't like any of the people over there. I didn't like the assistants. I didn't like the studio management. And as you know, I have my differences with Alan Zentz, your boss, but I know how you were. So I brought this over to you, and I just want to kind of show you when the label called for label copy. I want to show you. So look right here. Just read what that says there.
Recorded by Bruce Swedien using the Acusonic sound process. Mixed by Bruce Swedien using the digital mixing process assisted by John Van Est. God bless him. Look at JR.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Quincy.
Yeah.
Bobby Watson. David Walensky. Holy
Yep.
crap.
Hawk. Yep.
Tony.
Tony.
Hawk. Chaka Khan.
Mm-hmm. And Kevin.
Kevin Murphy.
Mhm.
Oh my God, dude. Look at this. Oh, yeah, you can't. And it's autographed.
Well, Quincy autographed it.
Autographed it. Says, to my
Lift.
brother from another mother. Dude, this is Rufus and Chaka Khan. The album is called Master Jam. John Van Ness has a credit on this album.
And no studio got credit, and no other assistants got credit.
Right fucking on, dude. That's rad. That's so rad. Oh my God. And that's familiar.
Now, I don't know where those were taken.
Where is that taken?
I don't know where those were.
Wow.
Maybe that was at Kendon. Maybe.
It might have been
Maybe
in
it
one
was.
of the Kendon lounges.
Yeah.
This is the greatest
Isn't-
thing ever.
Isn't that wonderful?
Dude,
That was so nice that Bruce did that. And I was so touched. And we went on to work on other things.
did that inspire you to become a studio owner since he didn't like the people at this place and that place?
Well, I guess I'll lead.
Maybe.
I guess I'll lead into that. So, they went away, and they did that, and they came. Bruce called me one day, and said, "Hey, we want to come back. We want to come back to Alan's place and keep working on the next records. And so I'm going to have a meeting with Alan. So you might see me in the building, next Tuesday or whatever." And so Bruce came on that day, and they walked upstairs and had a meeting. And when they walked down the stairs, kind of Bruce gave me a look like, I don't know that went very well. And he left, and Alan came down, and Alan was
Pissed.
upset because Bruce had suggested, "Hey, we'll keep our work here if you just buy one MCI 24 track," which we know by then Lynx had come out.
Yeah.
So we know we can slave the MCI to the Telefunken if we do this. And
And
Alan,
the rental companies didn't really exist yet, so we probably couldn't
no,
rent
not
one.
really. You
Yeah.
need, and so Alan was like, I'm not going to spend $25,000 to make a to buy another tape
That was
machine.
short-sighted.
Yes, very short-sighted, because the next record they did
Could have
was
gotten a lease.
the next record they did was called Thriller.
Thriller, yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
So-
that was short-sighted.
Yeah.
I guess Westlake said no problem.
Or
wherever they went.
Westlake said no problem.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yes, it did.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, all right. So yeah, I see we're running on time, huh?
We're close.
Well, it
Close.
goes really fast.
It does go fast.
So I'll close out this chapter and then we'll wrap it up. And
That's
if,
all good.
If we come back for a
We'll
part
do a part
2
two.
someday,
You go. I want to hear about this.
So Alan, of course, our business was heading downwards because we had a Harrison console, which Bruce loved, but no one else in town wanted to work on a Harrison
Yeah,
console.
Entourage used to have Harrison too.
Yeah, there were a few around town,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
people just didn't like them.
Yeah.
So Alan was discouraged, and eventually he said to me, "I'm going to sell the business."
And Record Plant had Record Plant ABIs.
Yeah. So he said, I'm done. I'm getting out of this business. So I was like, but I freaked out because I'm thinking like, God, I'm going to lose my job, you know. And so I approached Harry Maslin, who was at that point one of our good clients. After Bruce left, Harry came in and was working on quite a few projects. And so I went to Harry and I said, look, if you will guarantee the loan, because I don't have any money, we'll buy it from Alan. I'll continue running it.
Did he own the real estate?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it's in a little business complex just south of Record Plant.
Yeah.
You drive through it. It's called Orange Square.
Yeah, I know what that is.
So no, he didn't, and the price he was asking was really low. So Alan, Harry and I ended up buying
Bought the
it.
business.
Well, yeah, we really were buying the equipment more than
Yeah,
anything.
yeah.
I mean, there was not much to buy.
Right.
But yeah, that's how I ended up there. And so, by extrapolation, I ended up owning a studio. So then that was
Was that called Image, or did you keep the Allen Sense?
No. When we bought it from Alan, we changed it to Image Recording.
Right.
And so then I got thinking like, well, okay, I'm buying it, and I'm a studio owner now. I'm 29. And it all came from the ashtrays.
It all comes from the
It
ashtrays.
all came from the
It all
ashtrays.
comes from changing out the fucking ashtrays.
Yeah.
Okay, this is so
Yeah.
crazy. So I probably met you in mid to late 80s.
I
maybe?
think so, yes. I was going to
Yeah.
say maybe in the mid to late 80s, because I might have been doing some sessions at Soundcastle, perhaps.
I was at Take One in Red Zone, which was the old Kendon.
Right.
Until 93.
Okay.
And then I went to Soundcastle in 93. But I remember that Chris Lord-Alge came out, and he was like one of your main guys later.
Yeah,
Like he
89.
lived.
He-
89. He lived at your place.
He did.
He came out, and I knew Chris because I had met Tommy, because Tommy was working at Encore,
Right.
right? And he would skateboard down to
Oh, that's funny.
because my friend, he ended up marrying her. They got
yeah.
divorced.
Right.
Andrea.
Yeah.
But that's how I knew you and got to know you was and Dad, was Terry there yet? She was
Terry
a
was
baby.
in the early 90s.
Yeah. So that was the thing was you at Image, was that you were one of the early people who had a resident,
I did.
a guy
did.
that was so loyal
I did.
that he just worked out of your place.
Yeah.
And as a manager, that was a goal of mine, to have 5 of those.
Yeah.
Or and to this day, like I have a couple clients that are like that, but to have, I didn't care about we had long-term bookings, obviously,
Yes,
much
yeah.
longer than they generally are now.
Yes.
But my goal, I just wanted 5 people.
Yeah,
You know what
I need
mean?
5 good men
yeah,
or women, whatever.
exactly. I need, and I joke, and people say, how has your job changed? And I said, well, in the beginning, I had to know 10 busy producers.
Yeah.
Now I have to know 100.
Right.
Or more.
Right.
Anyway, John, I love you so
Yeah,
much.
yeah,
And
we'll
and
do
you-
a- we'll do
a
a-
part 2
we'll
for
do a
sure.
part 2.
There's so much we didn't talk about. But the message, okay, from today, from this episode,
Right.
is change the fucking ashtray.
Exactly. That is it, man.
Dude.
The ashtrays.
Keith, you will get such a kick out of this one, man. I love you so much.
Well, this was fun. This
It's
was fun.
so fun. And it goes quick.
And it goes quick. Yeah, I can't believe it's like fucking 10 to 2. Yeah, it goes quick. But yeah, there's still so much to talk about.
Oh, my God. So
I
much
mean,
to talk about.
there were the Chris years and other stuff.
Other things and wonderful things. And well, before we shut off completely, you're still doing it. You
Yeah.
have Resonate Recorders,
Yeah,
beautiful
yeah.
place.
You have to come.
I want to come in Burbank.
Yeah, you got to
And
come.
it's on San Fernando Road.
It is.
Okay, Resonate Recorders. John Van Ness been doing it for a minute.
Yeah.
And you can trust him because you know he's going to change out the ashtray.
Exactly. The ashtrays will always be fresh.